For me, I think it's a funny, comical way. I think it could work really, really well with kids. So it might be a good strategy for,
This could backfire on you. For some of you who know your kids, this may not be the best method, but I want to go with it. Welcome to Reframe and Reclaim. We are Courtney Huckabee, a psychotherapist,
and Jen Harris, an interior designer who have teamed up
to reflect,
challenge,
and reframe your mindset in relationship with your personal belongings.
Join us as we discuss and declutter all of the stuff that keeps us stuck.
Learn to intentionally create environments with improved function and design that cultivate peace of mind. Find the reframe.
Start your reclaim.
Hi, I'm Jen Harris.
And I'm Courtney Huckabee.
And we're the authors of Reframe and Reclaim. So on today's podcast, I wanted to ask Courtney, have you heard about the new decluttering craze that is sweeping social media?
Tell me about
the new method. It's called the poop method. Have you heard of it? Have you heard of it?
Yes, I have heard of the poop method. Let's talk about it.
So for those of you that don't know, the poop method is if you're on the fence about something, if an item is covered in poop, would you keep it? So what do you think of this decluttering technique as a useful question?
This is, if this item were covered in poop, would I keep it and try to clean it, or would I replace it or just get rid of it, right?
Yes.
I think it's interesting. I mean, I don't know how much poop is going around in people's homes. Usually there's a space for poop. What do you?
Well, luckily we like to live in hypotheticals, right? So it's like,
sure.
So, some of the questions we ask ourselves is, if, my house burned down, God forbid, like, would I keep this item? So living in that space of, if I lost everything, how valuable is this item really to me, and would I replace it? So, for me, I think it's a funny, comical way. I think it could work really, really well with kids. So it might be a good strategy for,
This could backfire on you. For some of you who know your kids, this may not be the best method, but I want to go with it, hypothetically. Let's do that. Mom of boy moms,
yes.
Beware.
Yes. Well, we just got over being sick with a stomach bug. And so I feel like this has been in our realm heavily for the last week. So for me, I don't know. I have thrown away things that are covered in disgusting things in the past. But to me, I don't know if it would really help me get rid of stuff. Just hose it down, bleach it out. My husband would be like, it's gone. Everything would be gone. So I guess it just depends on your mental state.
Well, I do have a young boy, so we're freshly newly out of diapers in the last couple of years. I do have dogs, and so we scoop poop in our backyard. Right. So I won't say poop doesn't scare me all that much. Maybe it should scare me a little bit more. But I do like the idea, if I had this mug.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it had poop on it.
I'd be more inclined to get rid of it.
I don't know. Or if I had this shirt. I guess if it were I would have to hand clean it, right?
Yes.
Rather than back in the backyard hosing it down or I don't know. This is an interesting conversation about mindset of decluttering.
Yes. Because I don't know if it would really promote, again, I think it's a funny way to look at it, and it could help people.
It could. And I do think, again, everyone has a different tolerance of certain things. That has been covered in our past podcast of your distress tolerance. And if your poop distress tolerance is low, then this might be something where you would just live happily without anything or in your space. But I do think it does come to a great idea of really how much stuff is super valuable, what is replaceable, what is something that I could live without. And we're in America, the United States of America here, and I do think that we are in a place where many people do have more than we absolutely need. More. But there are people who have things and don't have needs met too. So I want to take that into consideration, that there are a lot of things that I have in my home that help me feel happy, that bring me joy, that create convenience for me that I like. But do I really need all of those things? If we were into, a natural disaster of some kind, what would I really truly need for me to feel whole?
So is there a certain question that you ask yourself whenever you're on the fence trying to decide on an item?
I will say, honestly, I'm very blessed in my life that it's, not usually something, people who don't know me very well, and many people don't. I am a person who, things are great, but I don't have to have a thing to remember a memory or a person or a place. There's nothing in my life that I really need. Like in my mind, I'm like, I need my toothbrush. Like I really like my toothbrush, but I can get any toothbrush. It doesn't have to be that toothbrush. But I would say, I think it can help me if I ask myself, would this make my life harder for me? Like, would this make my life harder? Would it make life more difficult if I didn't have this? That's kind of where I'm at in life. What about you? That. Like, what questions do you ask yourself when you're thinking about letting go of something or holding on to it?
So for me, I'm the much more sentimental one of the two of us. And so for me, it really comes down to like, I have to ask myself the natural disaster question. Because if it's a one-off, it's like, because one of the questions a lot of people bring up, like, if it was broken, would you repair it? Or would you pay to have it fixed? And for me, it's, if it's just one item, it's like, whatever. But if I have to think bigger picture, like everything and understanding what I truly value as a whole, it really is. If I lost everything, would I replace this? If I had to start my home completely over, would I bring this into it?
And I never like to think those kinds of hypotheticals, but I think there is a lot of things in my home I don't need. And with that question, would I replace it if it were broken and needed repair? I know my husband would try his hardest. He's an engineer. He loves to be helpful and find ways to reimagine and fix and, create solutions. But yeah, that's a really great question. I will say for me, like, if this were to be broken and I didn't replace it, like, would it be okay for me in my life? Would it be okay just not to have it?
Yeah. Would it be easier?
Would it be easier? Would it make my life harder? And that's where I'm at, right now. Would it make my life harder if I didn't have that?
I like that.
So, but I like your question too of if this were broken, would I choose to repair it or would I just let go of it? Mm-hmm. Or is it small monetary value that I could replace it easily? And I think that's part of our book too.
Right.
Is, if I had, and I think one of my examples was like the Allen wrench that comes in your furniture building kit. Thank you, IKEA, and all of the other furniture places that provide some of those small tools needed. But do I really need to keep every single one of those every time I put a desk or a table or a dresser or bookshelves together?
Right.
Or do I have my own investment of, and I feel very proud of, this was one of my first tools that I purchased as a single woman homeowner. I had a hammer and a wrench and a screwdriver, a Phillips and a flathead. And I had an Allen wrench tool set. Like, it's like all the different sizes. So when I do get a new furniture kit, I throw away, discard those Allen wrenches because I have a whole set that I can go to and I know where it is.
Yeah, because especially being in America, we are a land of plenty. Like, most people don't go without, and the average home has like 300,000 items in it. And not only that, they say we only use about 20% of those.
Right.
And then like with kids' toys, I think America is like 3 or 4% of the total population of children in the world, but we have 60% of the toys.
Yes. And that's the thing too, is like, we always think, our kids always want something new. They love novelty. They love to have another play set or another toy or that new character or whatever.
Well, and as parents, you want to give your kids everything they want, right? Like, there's that mentality too.
But also, they have shown that children with less toys are actually happier and more creative and use their imagination. And so, I am guilty of this too. My kid has more toys than he needs. We have storage for his toys. But we ask him, he's getting a little bigger. We ask him, do you want to keep playing with this toy or do you want to give it to a little kid? And that's the question we're asking him right now.
That's a good question.
Do you want to keep this toy and play with it, or do you want to give it to a little kid? And we've been doing that with some of his dishes in the kitchen. We've been doing that with, he doesn't have pull-ups or diapers anymore. We're kind of behind on cleaning out his closet. And so he's like, yeah, give that to a little kid. So we're teaching him the questions to ask. Do I really want to play with this? Am I really going to use this? Or am I ready for something else in my next life chapter? Is this really useful for me right now or something that I enjoy?
And that brings up with my kids too, when we also do the same thing with passing down, but we personalize it. So it's like, would X person want to play with this? Do you think our friend so-and-so would like this? And so that really narrows down, like, would they or won't they? And that can kind of help determine if we pass it on or if we just donate it.
Yeah, and we've been a beneficiary in our home of many of your children's things.
And we were blessed with people passing down to us as well. So it's great that we can just continue that.
Which also reduces, us having to financially, go out and spend money, but us also feeling as though, we have what we need. We don't have to go and get more. Or if there's things that are passed down to us and my son doesn't want to wear that or we choose not to use that, we can then, again, donate it and pass it on to someone else.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So those are some of the questions we ask ourselves. If you have tried the poop decluttering method, let us know what you think. Or if there's something else that you ask that you think would be helpful for others, please share in the comments below.
Yeah, thanks for listening in. And for more information about Reframe and Reclaim, follow us on social media, comment below, or you can find our book on any online retailer.